25 as we tap into the life and times and expertise of our nature island Dominicans at home and abroad. From our agriculture and industry to sustainable development, resilience, and
Good evening, Dominica, the Caribbean, and the rest of the world, and welcome back to our number one program for featuring the people, the organizations, and the new and ongoing projects meant to help Dominica to move forward. We are very happy to be here with you for another episode of Roots Connections on Q, right here on Q95, the big station. This evening, we're happy to be joined by GEMS Foundation, and we're looking at a very important question, and that is how are we empowering business entrepreneurs in Dominica? So we all know we have quite a number of small businesses, entrepreneurs, self-employed people in Dominica, but a lot of them need resources and guidance and funding. So we're exploring the question this evening of what exactly do they need and what can we do to support our entrepreneurs, our small business owners. As always, we look forward to your contribution to the conversation. We look forward to hearing from you, whether you reach out to us through Facebook. We are live on Facebook at Q95 FM Radio and Push Past 10, or on YouTube at Q95 FM Radio, or whether you choose to call us later during the program. So again, here on Roots Connections, we look at the changes we should be taking advantage of, or what changes do we need to make in order to move our island, our people, and our region forward. So again, a very warm welcome to you. This is episode number 78 of Roots Connections on Q for today, September 25th, 2024, and I am your host, Simone Matthew. We have a great panel of phenomenal women with us this evening, so they're going to introduce themselves in just a little while, but we're very happy to be joined by Dr. Janora Joseph, who is the chairperson of GEMS Foundation and the director of environment. We are also joined by Miss Katie Julian, the director of education and training for GEMS Hospitality School. And we are also joined by Miss Elizra Fabian, the director of entrepreneurship. So we have a real powerhouse of ladies in the house this evening. So we cannot wait to hear their contributions. But before we get started, we always like to start our program off on a note by praying for our country, praying for our people. And this evening, we pray in a special way for those of us who are in the Florida and Georgia area, because many of us by now know that Category 4 Hurricane Helene is approaching the area. So I'm very happy that we're doing this program today, Wednesday, because tomorrow evening we will be under some pressure. So pray for us that everyone who is in the path of the hurricane will not be severely impacted by this hurricane. So let us go ahead and have our guests introduce themselves, and we ask them to unmute their mics. And again, we want to thank them for taking time out of their busy schedules to join us here this evening. And while they're introducing themselves, I will go ahead and share the link to everyone who's waiting for the program. And of course, this being Roots Connections, we want to know their connections to Dominica. So we want to know who they are, where in Dominica they're from, and a little bit about their professional careers. So let's start with you, Dr. Joseph. Please go ahead and introduce yourself. Unmute your mic. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank you for that introduction, Simone, who is also Dr. Mafia, right?
Simone is fine.
That's fine. Yeah. So good. Thank you for that introduction, and good evening to you. Good evening to the listeners and my fellow directors of the GEMS Foundation. So I am a civil and environmental engineer by profession. So my day job involves a lot of engineering and project management. I am currently employed in the government's Major Capital Projects Office. having been a former senior engineer of the Climate Resilience Execution Agency for Dominica, and a former chief physical planner for Dominica as well. I have had experience working not just in Dominica, but also in the United Kingdom, where I worked as a research fellow, a researcher, in specifically in wind engineering and air quality. So you can guess from my background in engineering that a lot of my work has to do with environmental matters. So that sort of segues into my position as the Director of Environmental Initiatives at the GEMS Foundation.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you so much for that. Katie, over to you. I think you're muted. Can you hear us?
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
So, hi, everybody. Good night again. And thank you, Dr. Matthew, for inviting us here this evening so that we could inform and educate the people out there about GEMS Foundation and what we are all about. I am Katie Julian, and I am from the community of Poitersville. And, well, I should say I was fortunate enough that at the age of 14, I decided I want to work into the tourism industry. So I spent 10 and a half years in the travel service, and then I left to go to the US to further my studies, even if I didn't do tourism at the time. But then while I was completing my OPT, the optional practical training, I got a scholarship under the ecotourism product development. It was a project funded by the EU back in 2005, where I left the US and I went across to the UK, where I did my master's degree, a master's in science degree in tourism development. And then I returned to Dominica, where I worked for like 6 months with the Ministry of Tourism to train under the same ETDP project, to train people who were desirous of working in the industry, like tour guides, taxi drivers, vendors, and so forth. And that was in 2006. In 2007, I was employed at the State College to coordinate the tourism and hospitality program there, and I've been there since.
Mm-hmm.
However, during my tenure, I have been promoted to the director of the Division of Tourism and Hospitality Studies. Mm-hmm. And then I got the invitation to sit on the foundation, where I would be the director responsible for education and training there. I am also currently the chairperson for the past 5 years, going on 6 years, of the Tourism Licensing Committee, whereby we review applications for anybody who wants to work in the industry. And but I've been a member of that committee since 2008.
Mm-hmm.
And currently, I am also a certified hospitality educator with the American Hotel and Lodging Education Institute in the US, a hospitality assured assessor with Hospitality Inc. in the UK, and recently, as in 2019, I was awarded the certificate in the Caribbean Vocational Qualification Level 4 Assessor.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. I can already tell we have very qualified ladies with us this evening. So we're looking forward to everything that you will share. So let's go over to you, Lizra. And once you've done your introduction, let us already start the discussion. And exactly what is GEMS? So tell us about the organization, and then we'll delve into the entrepreneurship challenge that you currently have ongoing. So Lizra, over to you.
Great. Thank you very much, Simone. And I'm really delighted to be here with you and my fellow directors. I must make mention that we are missing one director. So just recognizing JL at this time, who is the director of entrepreneurship.
Okay.
But in terms of my experience, previously I worked with the Chamber of Commerce, and I think that's the most recent where many persons may recognize a voice. I supported DIC as the executive director for over 6 years. And after this, I have been supporting the OAS on a regional project that supports women economic empowerment. And this supports entrepreneurs across the 6 countries in order to take advantage of the digital economy and to build sustainable livelihoods. So my life has been surrounded around supporting MSMEs, supporting entrepreneurs in really helping to make their experience more, to have greater impact in their business and be more successful. So we've been part of the GEMS Foundation, I would say, from the start of 2022. I had to go back in my my communication, Junior and Katie, to confirm when that part
You're right.
started.
2022.
But
That's when we started. Just
yeah,
about January 2022. Yes.
January 2022. And we started the discussions with Gregor Nassief and his team on how we can come together and support the foundation around 4 pillars. I think it was four E's. So we have environment, education, entertainment, and of course entrepreneurship. And under each pillar we support in some way in giving back to the country, but creating an impact for the foundation. Now I think Jenora and Katie, you guys can give more on that as well, but the foundation supports Gems Holding. It's external. It's not, I would say it's linked and it's affiliated, but we as the directors make the decisions in how the foundation is run. Of course, with advice from Gems Holdings, reporting to Gems Holding, making sure that we are accountable to the Gems Holdings. But as a foundation, it's an independent body that looks at supporting in 4 critical areas for the advancement of the country. I can go on and speak a little bit later about what we did last year and about
Yeah.
the challenge, but I open up to Jinora and Katie as well to share any other key information that you think is relevant.
Yeah. So thank you, Lizra, for that. So I think in a nutshell, Lizra has really summed up what the GEMS Foundation is about. So it really is an offshoot of the GEMS Holding wanting to give back to the Dominican society and really add value to the hospitality and tourism sector. So whilst we are a charitable organization, we are independent of the GEMS Holding, but as Lizra said, we are affiliated. The bulk of our financial support comes from contributions from GEMS Holding, although we do have independent contributors who contribute to the foundation's funding. But the key aspect of our activities is really centered around adding value to the hospitality and tourism sector. So hence the reason for the 4 E's. All of these contribute to growth and development in the sector.
Right. And Katie, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I would just like to add that as recently as April, the GEMS Foundation and the Dominica State College signed an MOU in that GEMS Hospitality School would offer internship opportunities for the tourism and hospitality majors at the State College, as well as the Faculty of Applied Arts and Technology, where they focus more on skills like electrical engineering, plumbing, carpentry, architecture, building and civil engineering also, because within the industry, there's not just the need for wait staff, service staff, housekeeping, front desk, taught or concierge or something like that. These properties, they need people for landscaping. If they have a maintenance crew, they would need plumbers, they would need steel benders, they would need electricians and so forth. So, and there's also that certificate program that we offer within that faculty, which is called the refrigeration and air conditioning. So a hotel doesn't really have to go out and outsource those things because they would have their own crew. So the MOU covers those areas.
Yeah, so thank you again, ladies, for the introduction to what GEMS is. So if you're joining us late, if you're just tuning in and you're wondering what is going on, you're listening to Roots Connections, and we are here as we continue to work to position Dominica to take advantage of a world where change is the only constant. As always, we are grateful to you, our audience, and we look forward to your contribution when we open up the mics and we take your comments around 9 p.m. This evening. evening, we remain grateful to Mr. G, the Q95 family. Lambi, thank you for being here. As always, I heard that you took a trip down the road to be here, so thank you for being here this evening. We're grateful to you as well, Sherwin Norris, our engineer, for always keeping us connected. So again, we are talking to GEMS Foundation this evening, and we're looking at the question, what needs to be done? How can we empower our business entrepreneurs in Dominica? So as we continue along here, I think it is important for us to talk about the challenge, but I also want us to talk about Mr. Phillip Nassief, because we know he contributed tremendously to the economy, to the livelihood of many Dominicans. So I'm not sure which one of you would like to take this on, but just tell us, for those of us, we have a lot of folks who listen and watch who are not from Dominica. So kind of just tell us, who was Mr. Phillip Nassief, and why his name is attached to this challenge, this entrepreneurship challenge.
Gina, if you want to jump in as well, that's okay. But I could start. So we decided to rename the challenge from the GEMS Entrepreneurship Challenge to the Phillip Nassief Entrepreneurship Challenge GEMS Foundation, due to the significant contribution of Mr. Nassief in the business community of Dominica. He started Fort Young Hotel many years ago, and he's been quite instrumental in a number of other areas within the hospitality and tourism sector, as well as in other sectors. So in recognizing his contribution and ensuring that this also remains as part of the foundation, what we do, and recognizing the valid contribution that he would have made, we decided to make that change. And now was quite timely to make that change. It's saddened that he passed, and we do recognize that. But it's a way that he will continue to live, or his impact will continue to live on, as his name is associated with this challenge. And we believe that this challenge is significant in providing funding for businesses, because it's not $500, it's not $1,000, it's actually $45,000 that's being invested in our business sector. And it's $20,000 EC dollars for the first place, 15,000 EC for the second place, and 10,000 EC for the third place. We think that this is quite significant. So as significant as this is, we want to ensure that the name that continues to live on through the challenge is recognized as associated with Mr. Phillip Nassief.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else would like to chime in?
Well, I think Lizra captured that very succinctly and perfectly. But I think importantly, we need to add that what we are trying to do with the Entrepreneurship Challenge is really to support our entrepreneurs, at a time in their business life where they really need that injection of support. And so in the spirit of the late Phillip Nassief's legacy, we are renaming the challenge, because we recognize that a lot of his life's work was devoted to supporting entrepreneurship in Dominica, in much the same way that we are trying to do with the GEMS Foundation and its entrepreneurship activities.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Katie?
I think they said it also. I just, yeah.
Yes, definitely. But even before we talk about the challenge, and let me acknowledge those who are already logging in on Facebook. Carl Coffee James, always great to see you. David Lewis, nice to see you. Greetings from West Africa. Wow, nice to see you, David. Thank you for being here all the way from West Africa. So guys, come on in, share the live. Don't forget to let everyone know that we are here. Don't forget to follow Q95 and Push Past 10. And remember to always click the notification button so you will know when we are live. So, we want to hear from our entrepreneurs as well. So what are the challenges you are facing as an entrepreneur? What are you struggling with? What do you need guidance and support with? We all know that you have that passion for your business, but what are the areas that you need support with? So even before we get into the challenge again, let's just keep the topic on GEMS for a little bit longer. So kind of tell us about your successes and your challenges today, because we also want this to be an opportunity for the public to support everything that you're doing as an organization. So to date, what are some of the challenges and some of the successes that GEMS has had today? Katie, I'm going to come to you for that one.
All right. Challenges. Ladies, did we ever face challenges or
Or
something like that?
successes?
But okay, well, with the successes, I can actually speak on my pillar, which is education and training in tourism and hospitality. And we started the pilot project for the GEMS Hospitality School last summer, where we had 22 students signed up, but then one fell sick. So 21 of them made it successfully through the 6 weeks. Some of them asked to extend theirs up to 10 weeks because what I should say is the internship program, the tourism and hospitality program, sorry, at the State College, in order for them to graduate, they need to complete 300 hours of internships. And at the end of it, write up a portfolio or so. And I must say, Fortune Hotel and Secret Bay have always been a major supporter. Always. There was once I stepped into Fortune Hotel and I checked 19 current past students combined at Fortune Hotel alone. And a number of them have been at Secret Bay. Some of them left to go to seek employment on cruise ships, because when they come in, we usually ask them, what would like to be? Why did you choose tourism or hospitality studies as a major? And then they would tell us, well, they want to become flight attendants, they want to work on the cruise ships, they want to work at hotels. And currently we have about 5 of them, or more, between 5 and 7 at Fortune Hotel. And we probably have about 9 or more at Secret Bay, and some of them are in managerial positions, and then throughout the region, we also have those who are actually managing hotels, managing major restaurants, and so forth.
Yes. So I think, and thank you for that. And I think it is so important because we're hearing about an international airport coming for Dominica. So what role will you be playing in terms of training the staff for that hotel, because for that airport? Because I mean, talk about hospitality and tourism, that would be a big initiative for the country. So what role do you have? Any insights into the role that you will play with training? Because I was wondering about that. I'm like, we're expecting an international airport, but have we started training folks to work at the international airport? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I should say discussions are happening or ongoing as we speak, because the Minister for Tourism, Mrs. Pemberton, she reached out to me saying that she would like us to expand our offerings. Right now, we are only offering tourism studies and hospitality studies, as well as short courses in taxi drivers and operators, vendors, tour guides, trail guides. But she wants to move further with that. And she mentioned she would want us to expand our offerings so that we can offer trainings for people going to be working at the international airport. And even last Wednesday, when they were commissioning the grooving and the extension of the runway at the Douglas Charles Airport, we were invited, a group of students, as well as myself and my administrative officer. We were up there seeing what was happening, and I was pleasantly surprised and appreciative that the CEO of DASPER, Mr. Badwill, he actually, in his presentation, he actually included certain technical information just for the students who were there, because he said when he understood that the students were coming, they needed to know those things. And he actually presented a certain section of his presentation specifically to the students.
Yeah, I think that is so important, and it's great to hear that that is the thought process with the potential of the international airport coming to Dominica. So again, successes and challenges of the organization. Dr. Joseph, any thoughts on that?
Well, with our foundation being such a new organization. I mean, we started in 2022, so this is we're very much in the very early stages of operating as a foundation. So, a lot of our initial challenges were to do with, we had a mission to really develop these areas, these initiatives in the specific areas that each director was tasked with developing, but really to put to put a pulse to feel the pulse of our people in Dominica and what really was needed in those areas. So we had to basically study the trends and how we could be the most impactful. And so with every organization, a lot of time is spent in the sort of what you call the downtime, when you start to figure out who you want to be as an organization, how you want to make your impact, how do you reach the beneficiaries, who are the beneficiaries even. So we did have that period in time where we sort of start to feel for how we wanted each of these various the ease to develop into tangible initiatives. So that was one of the challenges that we faced. Katie can tell you that even with the hospitality school, whilst there was a lot of interest, we had to figure out how exactly we could capture a large enough cohort of students and maintain their interest for the duration of the program, how we could work in concert with the State College, because Katie is wearing her hat as a director of hospitality and tourism studies at the college, but also wearing a hat as one of the directors of the GEMS Foundation, a director in hospitality in education and so on, especially as it relates to hospitality and tourism. So getting that synchronization of the multiple hats that each of us wear, that was something that we had to work on, to develop, to set aside the time that we needed to get the foundation running. And, I think what was beneficial for us is that we started off with a number of smaller initiatives. So we have been partnering up with the Whitey Kubuli Artists Association since the inception of the foundation, supporting them in small ways and big ways even. So we were supporting artists to attend exhibitions. Recently, we supported them with the establishment of a seed headquarters, so to speak, to have a premises for them to operate. And then we had our biggest initiative so far, which is the Entrepreneurship Challenge, which has been recently renamed to the Phillip Nassief Entrepreneurship Challenge. But we do anticipate that there will be additional big activities. For instance, we have coming up our launch of our environmental initiative, which is the Environmental Champions Grant. And we also have a launch of our arts and entertainment initiative. So we have been really trying to do sort of that research, to the informal research, to guide what sorts of initiatives would be most impactful in Dominica. Where do people need the support in the various areas? And how do we ensure that we get a captive audience to participate in our various initiatives?
Yeah, that's wonderful to hear. So, Lisa, I want to come to you. Same question. And then what I want us to talk about also are the challenges that you're hearing from our entrepreneurs. So what are they saying in terms of the challenges that they're facing, which was the reason why you probably started the entrepreneurship campaign, a challenge that you launched. So just kind of tell us, same questions, the successes and challenges GEMS face, but then let us go into the challenges that our entrepreneurs face on the ground. And I see quite a few people are logging in on Facebook. Guys, don't forget, if you want to be acknowledged for being here, simply post a message. I'm not going to run through all the names that are popping up on Facebook. So if you want to be acknowledged, you can just post a message, say good evening, say hi, hello, post something, and I will be sure to acknowledge you. So Lisa, over to you.
Great. So I will share from the perspective of the Entrepreneurship Challenge directly. One of the key challenges of businesses, I would say in almost all countries and all organizations know this, is access to finance. Finance. And our businesses prefer and also need grants at specific parts within their operations. And it's best if it's like to the earlier parts, I would say within the first 2 to 5 years. Well, that timing would be really great to give them the seed finance that they need to push their businesses even more. So if we look across Dominica in terms of even women entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, entrepreneurs in general, finance is one of these key areas. I must recognize also DAIC as one of the partners in this. That's the Dominica Association of Industry and Commerce, which I supported previously. And during the time there, like the chamber, we looked at having a a challenge, a grant challenge, but we wanted to get funding in order to do this. So it came in at a great time when I was still supporting the chamber as well as being the director of entrepreneurship, that even the ideas could marry a bit and the chamber could support this initiative as it's one of the key areas that was of concern at the time. So businesses needing financing, businesses needing mentorship and coaching, businesses need good role models to help them to be able to succeed even more. So I would tie this into some of the successes as well. From the last challenge that we had, three of our businesses, well, first, second, and third place. The first place was Terry Henry, and that's of Be Natural. And Terry got to purchase some equipment which she called Big Mama. I hope our directors remember this. It's a Big Mama machine. And she used to be able to make, let's say, if it's 20 in one batch, but now she could make over 200. And she says she have the capacity for maybe 350, but she's making 200 right now in one go, which has significantly transformed her operation, being able to manage her time better, being able to produce even more. So this, we believe, is a significant win for the foundation, being able to make such an impact in the life of an entrepreneur. We also see with Jody, she's still refining that part based on the equipment that she recently bought. And hopefully, at the next time, we can give more stats on that. But Jody has also been able to transform the one of the product that she offer and increase her sales, increase her revenue, increase her impact, increase her influence as well. And she thanks the Gems Foundation for that. We've also provided support to Ceres, and that's an ongoing support. So hopefully at a future time, we'll be able to share the specific way how the grant has transformed the life of the business, the employees, the life of the customers, and just made a general great impact in Dominica. We also had some other entrepreneurs. So we had seven shortlisted, and the four others were also offered, well, the other entrepreneurs were also offered mentorship. So some of them, through the mentorship that they received, helped to make a significant impact, whether giving them ideas of what they could have improved on or helping them to solve some challenge that they experienced. Those who took on that opportunity got to see some significant improvements from that.
Yeah, thank you for that, Lizra. But what are you hearing in addition to funding? And we want to make sure we spend adequate time on the challenge. But in addition to funding, what are some of the other challenges that we're finding with entrepreneurs on the ground? And I ask this question because one of the things I've been finding, I've been doing this program for about 3 years now. And one of the things that I'm finding is that a lot of our entrepreneurs do not see the importance of joining organizations that can help with their particular part of their particular business. So I think a lot of our small businesses, our entrepreneurs, they have a sense that they have to go it alone, right? So I'm in this alone without realizing that there are other organizations that are there to support them. So that is one of the reasons that I'm asking this question. And I'm also finding that many of our businesses simply do not have a budget for advertising and promotion. And to me, that is very concerning because, yes, you have a passion for the business. Yes, you want to use word of mouth to get the word out, but there's only so far that word of mouth is going to take you. And a number of small businesses, when they approach me and I say, well, do you have a budget to help to promote your business? They don't. So these are some of the things that I am encountering. So that is why I'm asking the question, what are some of the challenges that you're finding? So in addition to funding, Katie and Dr. Joseph, have you come across any other challenges that our small businesses are facing in Dominica?
Yes, I mean, even in our efforts to recruit as many participants as we could in our inaugural inaugural entrepreneurship challenge, we had businesses. Basically, we spoke to them and we wanted to find out from them what are the barriers to their participation in the challenge. And we're hearing a lot of the businesses, the filing requirements, in terms of filing taxes, keeping records, doing the accounting for their business. So many businesses operate in a very informal way. And that precludes them from being able to qualify for grants such as that offered by the Entrepreneurship Challenge. And even the aspect of writing up and applying for funding grants, a lot of our entrepreneurs, they have beautiful ideas. When it comes to ideas, they have all these wonderful ideas that they would want to materialize. But in terms of how to apply and position these ideas so that they can attract funding to grow their business, there is a deficiency in being able to package those ideas in a way that communicates what they want to do. Which is why our challenge required them to not just do a written submission, but also to pitch their business so that they could benefit from having a concise format and speak about their business. And of course, we had a lot of our businesses, not just with the record keeping of the business activities, but also a business plan. The sort of forecasting what exactly you would want your business to do in a year's time, 5 years time even. So that was something that was deficient. So a lot of our entrepreneurs were not able to participate in the challenge, despite us trying to rally participation, because the requirements, they were not able to meet the requirements. And even from my perspective as the chair of the foundation, we did not set really onerous requirements, but it's just that the culture of our entrepreneurs in Dominica needs to move towards a more formal way of keeping records, filing taxes, and documenting the business activities and the business plan.
Yeah, certainly. So, Katie, do you find that is probably an area? Well, I should ask you: is that an area that is taught at the State College, taught to potential entrepreneurs, the need to formalize your business? Because that is the sense I am getting, especially when it relates to the music industry. We have a lot of our young singers, they want to make money, but they simply do not see the need to formalize, to have a business plan. And what does a business plan entail? Your finances, record keeping, and everything else that comes along with it. So is that being taught, or do you feel like there's a need for more education in that area?
Okay. At the State College, currently we have a major called entrepreneurship, a major in entrepreneurship by itself. But then the programs within the business studies department, they must follow a course in small business management, whereby for their midterm, they need to plan and execute a small business for the day, have their records in place, because a week after that, they need to sending a financial report with their financials in that. And then their final exam is a project, minimum 50 pages of a business plan, whereby, with the they have to do a market research, everything on the business that they decided to do. With the tourism and hospitality program, we usually tell our students their small business must be tourism or hospitality related, because this is the program that they are going into. But we do offer short courses for 8 weeks, 10 weeks. Some of them are in skills and stuff. But I remember the 1 year we offered a course in management and customer service relation. There was another one. And, the buying into it was a little bit minimal. And I think probably is the lack of mentorship. And that is causing that. And some of them, they do not have the accounting background. So that in itself is an issue. But if we were to probably offer a short course, say within the foundation,
right,
on, writing up a business plan, writing up a proposal for grant funding, those kinds of things, and actually target these young entrepreneurs, probably we might see some buying into that.
Yeah, and I just want to make sure we're having the broader conversation, because this is all very important to the success of small business and entrepreneurs. But I also get the sense that there's a sense that, well, I don't have money for that. So even when you're talking about offering a short course that will provide our entrepreneurs with all the skills, everything that you need to know in order to run a business, I just get the sense that folks are always thinking, I don't have money. But yes, you may not have money, but think about all the mistakes you may make along the way that is going to cost you money. Think about all the opportunities you're not going to be able to have access to, such as the grant funding, the funding that you offer with your program, because you have not invested the time. And I think a lot of people think, well, I can just go on YouTube and look this up. I don't have to pay any money for this. But I think a lot of times we are wrong, that you actually need to sit with somebody, whether it's a mentor or it is somebody who, can teach you, such as what you mentioned, Katie. But there is a need that even before you jump headfirst into a business, that you ought to take a step back. So I truly hope that everyone who's listening will share the program, whether you share the YouTube live or you share the Facebook, so that our young entrepreneurs can be educated on the need to formalize your business practices. So Liz, let me come over to you. Any thoughts?
Yes, I wanted to comment on this part as well, because a lot of businesses may think that, you know what, people want to get in my business. If
Right.
I share my finances, they will know what I do and what I'm making. If I get my business registered, the government will know all my business and they will have insight into everything. If I go to the organization, they will ask me too much questions. So sometimes we want to keep things to ourselves. But it's important to have our business formalized so that we're not operating vice. So I actually saw one of our, I would say, support in the business community. That's Donald Bakassi. I must mention his name because I'm taking it from him here. He made a post today about entrepreneurs being vice will kill your business.
Yep.
Right? If we continue to operate vice, and lots of businesses have died in Dominica because some of them, we're not saying all of them, but some of them have operated vice, and that did not help them. So in ensuring that we can register our business name, get a business bank account, we can separate our personal from business finances. That's been one of the challenges of our businesses in Dominica. I mean, the more we go into it, is the more we can get, but that's like financial management, how we manage that. And if we plan, like Genora mentioned, have the business plan, then we'll know that, okay, well, this is where I'm heading, so I can put money into marketing because I want to achieve that. But if I don't know where I'm heading, then this would not seem like it's important to me as a business owner. So that part is extremely important in formalizing, but making sure we keep up to date. Whether we have employees, making sure we pay the social security, making sure whatever limit, like there are the different brackets. Brackets meaning how much money we are earning. I can't remember the number right now, if it's 100 or 200,000 a year, that we do not have to pay taxes on that. But if we operate like we get more income, beyond that, then we have to start paying taxes. So just making sure that we are current, so that when opportunities come as well, if we want financing from a financial institution, or if someone wants to invest in our business, because we don't only have to get grants and loans, we can get financing through other ways, or someone may be interested in having a equity ownership in the business. And some people may think, hey, that person wants to know my business too, and they want to take over my business. But oftentimes we mention that if there's a pie and we have 100% of a pie worth what, $100, versus 50 or 75% of a pie worth 1,000 or 10,000, what would we actually prefer? It may not be that we have to keep everything ourselves, but we may have to be open to other ways of financing and developing our businesses.
Yeah, and I want to make sure we get into the challenge as well. But just talking about concerns with our entrepreneurs, our small businesses, and this is to everyone on the panel. The other concern I see a lot with our small businesses, our entrepreneurs in Dominica, is the fear of competition. So I see a lot of people walking in the spirit of scarcity instead of the spirit of abundance. What do I mean by that? By that, I mean that we have this thing, we want to hold on tight, 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 tight. And if we open our hands, we're afraid somebody's going to come and take it from our hands. So I think we have, I'm not sure where it's coming from. I'm guessing it's because, Dominica is a small society, but I always like to say we have 65,000 people on the ground. We have 150,000 people in the diaspora. So we're very big if we think about it. But what are your thoughts on this notion that there is a fear of competition? I see it on Facebook and social media all the time. Oh, this person stole my idea. That person stole my idea. So what are your thoughts in regards to, we need to walk in the spirit of abundance rather than the spirit of scarcity? Your success does not take away from my success. What are your thoughts on that? To anybody on the panel?
Well, I could jump right in. I see you want to come, Gino, as well. But that has been one of the concerns of all businesses. And even for the challenge, some persons ask, you know what, will they steal my idea? Like, no, the
Wow.
intention is not to steal the idea. The intention is not to come in and take over what already exists, but to empower the businesses. We've seen a lot of times in Dominica where people copy what other people do. So one person start making something, you see five people come and start making it very soon after. But that's where innovation comes in. And if we build that culture of innovating, that not because I have something this way, I'm going to keep it this way for 5 years. I need to make it better. And if they try and copy me, I'm already changing and my business is already getting better. So persons can copy whatever they want. And also, if I collaborate with someone else, it could help make things better. We saw with COVID, like shortly after the impact of COVID, that a lot of the businesses who collaborated became more successful. So those who collaborated with logistics companies and they no longer required customers coming in to buy from them, but that company could take it to their customers, they saw success. So not just about me getting all the money, but being able to share so that all of us could benefit together.
Yes, Dr. Joseph. Uh-huh.
So excellent points, Lizra. But I would say that whilst I do encourage entrepreneurs and inventors and innovators to do everything in their power to protect their intellectual property and
Right.
to patent their original ideas, if that is an option that's
Yeah.
available to them, I encourage that, of course. But I must say that what we need to do is sometimes think beyond our own Dominican shores. So that scarcity mindset sometimes comes because people consider their market to just be Dominica. So we think of our population, which is some 60 plus 60 odd 70,000 people. And, and we've considered that our market is extremely limited. So we feel that we have to really fight tooth and nail to capture this limited market. But I would say that entrepreneurs need to start thinking in this internet age that we're in, with freight forwarding, with, Amazon Marketplace and all these different avenues you have to really expose your business and to do business in ways that were not available, say 20, 30 years ago. We have to really capitalize on those opportunities. So we need to think bigger. And this is where collaboration becomes extremely useful, because whilst you may not be able to scale up by yourself, if you collaborate with some like-minded entrepreneurs, you may be able to achieve growth in your business much faster. So I think that is where we have to encourage that kind of partnership. And we see this in other aspects in other industry as well, that partnerships are able to propel you to your destination a lot faster than if you were to go at it alone. Now, having said that, I do understand that when you pour your heart and your soul into an idea and you see it being copied and it sort of cuts into your profit margin, that can be something that you feel that you have to protect yourself against, which is why I say I encourage entrepreneurs, I encourage inventors, innovators, wherever possible, to make sure they protect their intellectual property. But at the same time, you have to be strategic and you must not be afraid of exposing aspects of your business in ways that can draw investment, that can market your offerings, and in ways that can allow you to grow beyond Dominica.
Yeah, fabulous. That is exactly where I was going with that thoughts. And Lizra, you mentioned JL Joseph earlier. Well, she's on the live. She said, Hola, Gems. JL is a busy person. I know why she wasn't on the program this evening, but she wants everyone to know that she's watching. So welcome, JL Joseph. We also see Fermin Prevo, blessings, Ramat. Hassan. Hi, great show. So, guys, don't forget, if you want to be acknowledged for being in the audience, post a message. But that is exactly where I was going, the idea of e-commerce. So, Katie, I want to know, is that something that is taught in terms of when you're thinking of your target audience to think beyond Dominica, the importance of e-commerce? I was watching an MO News Live recently, and I'm forgetting the name of the business, but this wonderful, beautiful young lady, she has this Wabduyet store in the middle of Roseau, and she sells internationally. She said she has actually shipped Wabduyet as far as Dubai. Okay, so that is the spirit. So, how can we encourage that culture where we are encouraging our young people, our entrepreneurs, young or old, to think beyond the shores of Dominica, to rather be thinking, how can I get my product to that international Dominica Creole markets, because we're Creole people. St. Lucia is Creole, Martinique, Guadeloupe, Seychelles, La Reunion, Mauritius. I could go on forever. But how do we encourage that culture? And is that something that is taught in the hospitality program?
Well, within the Tourism and Hospitality program at the State College, we do offer a course that's part of the program, Principles of Marketing and then Tourism Marketing. But then within the course marketing itself, right, it speaks of you being aggressive in promoting and marketing your products, but you also need to copyright it. Now, within the Tourism and Hospitality program, we know food and beverage is a very huge area, or a very huge subsector. We have the Bureau of Standards here to actually test your products and to give you that nutritional information for your labeling. So even labeling, I remember a couple of years, I went to a particular supermarket, and it was a few days before Creole Festival where they knew that a number of people were visiting. And there they had this drink. I don't know what it was. There was a little piece of fruit in there, no labels at all, and just a little bit of piece of madras on the cover. And I'm looking, I'm saying, but wait, what is this? Where is the nutritional information? Where is the information about the ingredients? What is there? Somebody might be allergic to whatever ingredients is, and there's nothing there to see. And this is why, the Bureau of Standards not came into play, but they started this campaign about packaging needs to be integral in marketing your products also. So when the students are doing that course, even the business admin course at the college, there's one area where it focuses on marketing. So this is where they come up with the innovations and everything. Now, within a small business growing, there's also the Potter's 5-factor theory affecting that business. And that is what people need to understand. I'm a new business, but I'm going to have competitors. I'm going to have even new entrants coming in, new businesses coming in. So you're going to have that. Use that as a positive motivating factor for you to grow your business, rather than, they're going to steal my idea and this and that. And a number of people also have complained about they would approach small businesses to actually be the liaison between them and the outside market. And the next time they go to them, I don't know that doesn't make money. And they're done. They don't, they don't see it through. One day they don't make a sale and they give up. So we also have that situation going on. So I think probably more knowledge or education, small business, growing small business, how to handle your books, basic accounting, the marketing of your products, everything tied into one.
So
and Lizra, before you jump in, just one other thing, and then we're gonna get the phone numbers out, and then we're gonna jump into the presentation. You have Lizra, so make sure you hold your thoughts, Lizra. But then the other thing I find too is, let's say, JD's Naturals. JD has done tremendously well in terms of educating herself on everything that is involved in her business. And I find it so unfair. So I hear people say all the time, oh, I went to so and so to try to find out how exactly she did her business, and she didn't want to tell me. Well, she doesn't owe you a favor. She has done all this work to get herself educated, to do the research, to get the skills, and now you want her to give you all the information for free. And I'm thinking to myself, well, why don't you offer to pay her the same way you would pay for a course at the state college? Why don't you offer to pay her something, and then she might be willing to educate you? But I get the sense that we want everything for free. We want everything for free, and we want it to be gifted to us. And I've tried to help a number of people in Dominica, and I get the sense, I'm trying to help you, but I have to do everything for you and then lay it in your lap. And that is just not how the world works. That is just not how the world works. So I'm happy that we're expressing all the concerns that we're seeing with entrepreneurs and small businesses in Dominica, because I want this to be a teaching opportunity for anyone who's looking to enter the world of entrepreneurship, being a small business. Even if you have started already, I want you to go back and look at this program and take notes of all the areas that we are talking about, of what you need to address in order to be successful. And Jael, I know you are pro in the space of social media, so maybe you can chime in and give us some of your experience in terms of, if you feel like somebody's competing with you, how do you handle that particular situation? But Lizra, I know you wanted to share, and then Lambi, we are coming to you for the phone numbers.
Great. So I think not maybe, it's God ordained, the path that I'm taking now with the work that I do. And what we focus on is supporting women entrepreneurs in being able to take advantage of the opportunities in the digital economy, which includes e-commerce, exporting to markets, learning how they can position their businesses. Just this month and ending tonight, actually, we had the last of a 3-part practical session on how can our businesses enhance their capacity to take advantage of AI. That was the first Wednesday of this month. The second Wednesday focused on using Canva so that they can understand how they can create this practically. How can they use AI to even give them some content they need to design just simple and targeted content to reach your customers. And tonight we looked at Fiverr, because everyone does not need to do everything for their business, but we can outsource and tap into resources around the world to help push us even further. And we recently focused on different topics, training our entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs, free of charge, information helping them to see how they can identify their target customers, position their businesses well. And Dominican businesses participated in this. So the information has been out there. Some have participated in it. We have recorded them. It will be placed on the Clearinghouse, which is a website, which subsequently I can share more information on. But currently, we're also finalizing a financial literacy toolkit for our entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs, and all MSMEs, in having templates in, like, from invoicing to budgeting to business plan to pitching the business to so many different areas that can help our businesses in this specific area. Also focus on formalizing our businesses and using social media. We collaborated with Meta so that businesses can do self-paced courses. So those who are wondering how Jody did it, Jody attended some of these sessions as well. So it's part of her personal toolkit to use the resources available to transform her business. So just making a plug for this, I can share the link so that anyone who's on the Facebook page can view that link and look at the resources that are available to help push their businesses forward.
Yes, please do post it in the private chats, and I will go ahead and post it to Facebook as well. But let us go over to the studio so Lambi can give out the phone numbers. Guys, if you want to post a comment on Facebook and YouTube, this is a great time to do so, because we will be taking your comments at this time during the program. Ladies, if you need to take a sip of water, you can go ahead and do so while you rest your voices. And then Lizra, when we come back, we want to go into your presentation. And then, of course, Dr. Joseph and Katie, you can chime in while Lizra is doing the presentation. So Lambi, over to you. Oh, is Lambi with us? I'm not sure. Did he fall asleep? Oh my. Okay, let me just text Showing to see if Lambi is still with us. But for now, let's take the Facebook comments. So we said good evening to David, Ramat, Fermin, and JL is saying competition. I'm always in second place, so there is always a first place position to take over. JL, I beg to differ, you're in first place. We all know that. I think there is room for many. That's how we do things. Like, do we consider collaboration? I'm rambling, but you get the point. Absolutely, we get the point, JL. So I like to think, walk in the spirit of abundance, not in the spirit of scarcity. And that is what it boils down to for me. So let me go ahead, Lizra, you can go ahead and start talking. Be very descriptive so that those of listening on the radio will understand completely while we share what you're talking about. And let me try to reach out to Showin because I think Lambi may have fallen asleep. He must be exhausted. So go ahead, Lizra.
Okay, great. Thank you, Simone. So for the Phillip Nassief Entrepreneurship Challenge, for those who are just joining us on the radio and those on Facebook and YouTube, we mentioned that we recently changed the name from GEMS Entrepreneurship Challenge to the Phillip Nassief Entrepreneurship Challenge, GEMS Foundation. And this is to recognize the great contribution of Mr. Phillip Nassief to the Dominican society, to hospitality and tourism, and to advancing entrepreneurs in Dominica. We have designed this challenge to support our businesses within the hospitality and tourism chain, meaning that it's not only businesses who are hospitality and tourism related, but those who are linked to the industry in some way. So this includes whether someone is in food and beverage, in farming, in fishing, in agro-processing, in different ways. So in different sectors, including entertainment and arts, technology and tour guiding, even excursions and transportation services, also health and safety and other sectors. So once someone can find that linkage to the hospitality and tourism sector, and we invite them to be able to apply for this challenge. Now, there are a number of a few areas that we've identified for the eligibility and for knowing how one can apply to this challenge. Before we get into this, I just want to again share how much persons would be receiving if they win this challenge. So there's first, second, and third place. The first place winner will be awarded 20,000 EC dollars. The second place, 15,000 EC dollars, and the third place, 10,000 EC dollars. Now, this is quite an investment in our businesses in Dominica. So we encourage everyone who is eligible to apply. Now, we're getting into the eligibility very soon. Now, we just want to underscore that we encourage as many applicants, ensuring that this process is open and accessible to all. And we want persons to look at innovation because we take innovation as a very serious matter for this application. And we want businesses to not just come with what is, or like we mentioned before, Viki Vi. It's not just I come, I wash my foot and come, but how am I making a difference? How am I enhancing my service or product offering to make the hospitality and tourism sector even better in Dominica?
Lizra, give me 1 second. Yes, Lambi, I was just calling you because I think you dozed off for a minute. We were trying to give out the phone number. So Lizra, just hold the thought. Let us just invite folks on the phone lines to call in. So just hold your thought for 1 minute, Lizra.
The numbers are 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097, 616-4257. The overseas number 305-432-9624. Let me run this one more time. 449-3095, 9697, 616-4257, 305-432-9624. Back to you, Simon.
Yes, thank you very much for that, Nami. So just let us know if we have a call coming in. Yes, go ahead, Lizra.
Great. Thank you very much, Simone. And we also want to recognize the support of DAIC as one of the partners in this. I did mention previously a bit about what they or how they're contributing, but I'll mention it a little bit more. Now I see Shima saying that she need the criteria. Shima, we're coming to you. So we're just on the eligibility requirements. One must be a citizen, a legal citizen or resident of Dominica. So citizen or legal resident, sorry, of Dominica, right? It would not be someone who is out of Dominica, or not from Dominica, or someone who is not a legal resident. Secondly, the individual or the applicant must be a registered business operating in Dominica. So it can't be someone who's operating informally. That person must have registered, at least have a registration of the business name operating in Dominica. They must have been operating for at least 2 years. So it's not for startups who are just like under a year or just under 2 years. It's for businesses who are operating at least 2 years in Dominica. They must have financial statements prepared for the last financial year and budgets for the upcoming or current year. Now, as we mentioned in our discussion before, that's why financial records is extremely important so that we can know what's the life of the business. We are able to tell a lot about the business from its finances. So it's important that all business must have the financial statements. They must provide the relevant personal and business documents as part of the application, and we'll go through the personal and business documents very soon. They also must provide references from at least 4 customers showing the quality and reliability of the product and service. So it's not just someone who thinks that my business is good, my product and service is good, but what are the customers saying about your product or service? And finally, under eligibility requirements, the person must not have won a previous challenge. So it cannot be Terry, Jody, or Ceres. They are excluded from this year's challenge, because we want to offer it to new businesses every year. So even if someone would have made it to the pitching round, one of the shortlisted 7, but they were not one of the winners, they can still enter this year's competition. Now, one may ask about the personal and business documents. For personal documents, they must have 2 forms of valid Dominican identification, including a government issued ID. So whether it's a passport or driver's license or social security card, they must provide at least 2 forms of a valid Dominican ID. And if they only have one of the above, then they must provide their original birth certificate or birth certificate as a second form of identification. They must also provide, it's very important, a police record, because we want to ensure that the persons who are applying to this have not committed crimes, or they're in good and regular standing with the police. For business documents, there must be that certificate of registration, as I mentioned from before. There must be a compliance certificate from any government authority, or evidence of filings for the last 12 months, whether from Inland Revenue or from Dominica Social Security. So from either organization, one organization. They must have the proof of business operations, including whether receipts, invoices, or contracts, because someone can say that they're operating, but it's important to prove that the business is actually operating. And the proof of address. If someone is operating digitally, they would have to indicate how they're operating digitally by sharing with us how that's happening. But we know that all businesses may not have that address, or if the person operates from their home, then they just share with us some proof of that address. Now, I must mention and underscore that we're hosting this at this time of year, which is in the final quarter or the last part of the year. Because last year we hosted it in like May, June, April, May, June period. And that was about the time that businesses were also filing. So it was just after that period. So we took that into consideration, ensure that businesses could have finalized the documents. Everyone by this time, this end of 2024, should have the documents for 2023. So it helps to make it easier considering the needs of all businesses. Now, one may ask, what can I use the funds for? when I get that 20, 15, or 10,000, what will it be approved for? So one can use it to one can use it to purchase equipment, technology, raw materials, labeling, packaging materials, whether for marketing or training, certification, whether entrance to a new market, for energy efficiency, for renewable energy, business continuity, and generally, it can be used for any investment towards the growth of the business, to help the business to sustain itself, and to help improve the efficiency of the business. Right? What is excluded is recurrent expenditure. So someone cannot take the funds and pay salaries or pay on a debt that they have or use it for personal expenses. That's why we stress the separation of personal and business finances. Now, someone mentioned that's not fair. Favoritism against the
I
diaspora.
was I was reading that. Dave is just playing. Hey, Dave in the UK.
I know.
Dave,
So
behave yourself.
So, Dave, if you or someone wants to come and operate in Dominica and be living in Dominica and supporting the economy, operating for 2 years, at least 2 years, you will be eligible to participate, right? So we open it up so that you can benefit in your return to Dominica. So next we share that the application process, and it's very important that everyone know this, the application process is only 50% of the total score in determining who will be first, second, or third place. The application is 50%, and the pitching on that day, will come to the timeline later on, it's 50% as well. So coming in, one must answer all these questions, the 5 areas that we are sharing here, right? And for these 5 areas, it includes customer and brand equity, innovation, the viability of the business, organizational capacity, and financial management. And I'm going to go in detail of each of them just so that we understand the
Yes, please
questioning,
do. Mhm.
because these questions are extremely essential for every business to ask their own self, whether they're part of the grant or they're not. All businesses should be asking themselves these questions. So, on the customer and brand equity, do customers believe in the product, service, or brand? And what is a track record of customer satisfaction and reliability? If customers are satisfied, it's important to be able to understand that and to articulate that by every business. How is a proposal creating meaningful benefits for clients? If the proposal does not create a meaningful benefit for the client, the business will lack, I would say, 10%. If they're unable to answer these questions, then that's a clear 10% that's lost. But if they're able to properly articulate these, then they would be able to gain that score. Innovation, as I mentioned, is critical to this application process and to the challenge. We're asking what is the idea that the applicant is proposing and why is it innovative? They must be able to show that. It should be something that's new to the world or offer an improvement in what they're doing. It must also scale an initiative that helps to impact the local economy. So one cannot take something that they've always been doing and present it in the same way that they've always been doing it. We must be able to show how the business is innovating in this proposal that they're sharing. Is a business compliant with environmental standards, which may include but not limited to sustainability, whether health and safety, energy efficiency, or even community events related to the environment? So we could see that some of our businesses are using environmentally friendly material, or they may have certain processes that they've been incorporated into their business to show that they are considerate of the environment. They're not just adding waste to the environment, but they're actually helping to make life, to make business, and helping the environment in the process. The third area is the viability of the business. Is the proposed financially and technically viable? So if the application, well, the proposal that the business is sharing does not make financial sense, or it cannot work technically, then that may not be a suitable proposal by the business. Does it have adequate demand in the marketplace? Are there realistic projections and appropriate budgeting? So if it's actually going to worth like 10,000, and we're trying to just put in a figure at 5,000 or 1,000, then that wouldn't work. We have to make sure that the cost is accurate. If a business says that, you know what, this is actually going to cost me, let's say 25,000, and I can put in 5,000 or 10,000, at least it shows what the business is also considering if the budget is beyond what the grant is offering, right? Does the proposed does the proposed innovation have the potential to be financially sustainable in the long term? So not just something that will work for 2024, and when 2025 comes, then it's no longer working, it's no longer viable. The fourth area is organizational capacity. So though we have good customer brand equity, we have a great innovation, the proposal is financially and technically viable, but the business may lack organizational capacity. That puts the application at a risk in terms of being successful. Does the applicant have the necessary organizational capacity, including the governance within the organization, to implement the proposal and deliver on the innovation? So whether support may be required, identifying how that support will be gained in order for the proposal to be successful is extremely important. And the final question for organizational capacity is, does the organization demonstrate commercial and technical viability for the proposed innovation? So does it is the organization does the organization have sufficient persons within the organization, or mentors, or maybe volunteers or additional individuals that will contribute to helping this be commercially or technically viable? These are critical. But as we also mentioned, the importance of financial management, this is where it's critical in the application. Does the proposal include adequate financial statements or records, and outlines the process for ensuring optimal financial management? And is there a clear plan on how the grant received will be used and reported on? If one is not able to show how they're going to use, if they're applying for, I mean, no one wants to apply for third place, because if they apply for third place, then they may actually not get it. But everyone may be seeking that 20,000 EC dollars. So is there a clear plan of how, if that is used, are they in like perform invoices, or even screenshots, or some way of showing how that fund is going to be used? So this would be really critical for all our applicants to show. Now, we mentioned that the application process takes on 50% of the total score, and the pitching takes on 50% on that date, which is the 27th of November. So 7 of the applicants will be shortlisted. If we have 10, 15, 20 applicants, only 7 will be shortlisted and given the opportunity to pitch their business ideas from the application and the ultimate pitching event. We would look and see based on the other businesses. I mean, depends on how many we have and how viable their options are. Then we could look and see if within the mentorship that will be provided, if there's additional capacity, if support can be provided to others beyond the 7. But that's a decision we'll have to take subsequently based on those who we see apply for the grants, and the capacity that we actually have at the time. Shortlisted candidates will be notified and publicized, so it will not be a secret. Simone, you'll be able to know all the 7, and your followers would be able to see all the 7 as well. Support will be provided through training in preparing the shortlisted candidates for the ultimate pitching event. And this is also where DIC comes in supporting the applicants in understanding how to pitch their business, how to do their presentation, how to be more successful in this regard. And last year we received that support, and we are truly grateful to the Chamber for this support. The pitch will take place in person as per the timeline, and winners will be announced at the ultimate pitching event. So one may want to understand, what the timeline is like, what they can look forward to. We're just 5 days away from the closure of the application process. We launch this on the 2nd of September, and the closure of the application process is on September 30th. And we held an information session a few weeks ago, and we had commitment from even at least 6 of the businesses on that Zoom session that they will be applying. So we do have demand from the businesses and uptake that businesses will be applying to this because they do want to benefit from the opportunities that are available here. On October 7th, we will end our review process of the application, ensuring that everyone provided the documents that has been needed before we pass it on to the judges for that judging process. Now, on the 8th of November, the judges will have ended their review, and on the 13th, we'll be notifying everyone of the seven shortlisted applicants on the or at least by the 20th. We want the preparation for the pitching to take place, so there'll be like a 2-week period between being notified of the shortlisted candidates to the actual event, which will take place on November 27th. It's not an open event for persons to come in, but it's a the event will be we broadcasted it live the last time, and I think we'll continue to do that because persons would be like quite interested to know what is being proposed, what are some of the ideas that are available. And we encourage our diaspora, and I would point out Dave Butcher, and that if you do want to, if you can mentor one of our businesses, or someone who wants to provide that support, or you can support in any way, or even share what the applicants are doing, we encourage you to support our MSMEs, our entrepreneurs in Dominica in this way. I see a question, where is all this information available? It's available on the GEMS Foundation Facebook page, as well as on the GEMS Holdings website with the GEMS Foundation subpage. But we can also share it here in the chat, the link in the chat, so that you can just click on that link and get access to the full guide that we are presenting in this session this evening. The application form is also available on the document. So if one goes, if you go on this page number 4, and you see the hyperlink, if you click on it, it takes you directly to the application form where one is able to fill out and enter all the information as per the questions that were included above. And there's a checklist so that one can ensure that they've submitted all the required documents. Now, as indicated in this, and I shared before, all suitable and interested entrepreneurs are required to submit their applications by September 30th to foundations@gems.dm. All right, so one can find out more information on our GEMS Foundation page, which the website is located here, and our Facebook.
Read it out for our folks listening on the radio.
Yes, so www.gems.dm//foundation. That's www.gems.dm/foundation. And our Facebook page is GEMS Foundation. So if you search GEMS Foundation, the link is provided you look on the timeline, and you'd be able to see it as one of the most recent posts on the Facebook page. So we want to, one can see here a picture that we have up for those who may be viewing, and I would explain it for those who are listening. It's actually our judges looking and being, I would say, captivated by the entrepreneur who won the last challenge. So we want to encourage all our local entrepreneurs, persons who are registered in Dominica. They have been operating for at least 2 years. They have the personal and business documents. They've provided the questions, or they understand the questions and can provide the answers. We invite you to be able to register to take advantage of this great opportunity. We've seen, and I mentioned before, but I would just articulate again, that Terry shared with us that from the 20,000 that she received, she purchased some equipment. One of these equipment, she calls it Big Mama. So she's named it Big Mama because here's what it does. It's been able to produce, I would say, 10 times, at least 10 times what she was producing before, and have the capacity to produce even maybe 15 times what she was producing previously. So she was able to invest in her business by taking the time, applying, putting in the effort, coming to the pitching event. And yes, it was close, but she won this challenge, and she's been able to invest in her business, invest in her livelihood, provide more for her family, and impact the Dominican economy, and also reach her customers around the world. So we look forward to questions from anyone. If there's any entrepreneur who have a question or anyone else who's online who may have a question or want to call in, we look forward to responding to any question that you may have.
Yeah, and do me a favor, Lizra, go ahead and post the website and the email address in the private chat, and I'll put it on the Facebook just so we can remind folks at the end of the program. But again, guys, that is why we had this whole conversation at the beginning of the program, the importance of staying ready. My husband says it all the time. If you stay prepared, if you stay ready, you never have to get ready. So that speaks to those among us who keep those financial records, who go through all the information we talked about earlier in the program, so that when opportunities like this present themselves, where you have an opportunity to potentially get a grant funding for your business for $20,000, for $15,000, for $10,000, if you stay prepared, then you will not be scrambling, because again, the deadline for the application process is September 30th. And I can see a lot of people are probably scrambling in their mind because they're thinking, how can I apply for this wonderful opportunity because I do not have the documents in place? So I'm hoping, Lizra and everyone, that hopefully this will be available next year, so that those who are not prepared for the opportunity this year will get their ducks in a row and will be able to apply for the opportunity. So guys, don't forget, if you miss any portion of the program, because Lizra gave us a very comprehensive overview of this entrepreneur challenge. If you missed any portion of the program, you're listening via the radio especially, you can simply go on to youtube.com. If you're not on Facebook, go to youtube.com and simply type in Q95 FM radio, and you will get the entire replay of this program. Or if you're on Facebook, Q95 FM radio, or push past 10 if you want to see the replay of the information. And let me go ahead and copy that link and post it in the comments section so that you will be able to simply click on it. Shirma, especially for you, I know you're very interested in this opportunity. So here is the link. Please click on it, Shirma, so you will be able to get the information you need. But Lizra, I had a question, because I think it's wonderful that you talked about, I'm doing two things at a time. You talked about that the funds cannot be used for ongoing expenses, such as paying salaries. But how is that monitored? So, for example, Terry won last year. So how are you ensuring that she's not using the funds, for example, for daily expenses?
So that's a really great question, and I'm happy that you asked. So we have our process of how we disburse the funds, and the entrepreneurs who won first, second, or third place must share with us the invoices or budget of how they intend to use the funds and about the monitoring as well. So it's not just like they win and we just hand over 20,000 one time. We must see now based on because we know sometimes prices change, different things change, but we must see the invoices of what the funds will be used for, which comes up to that amount or even exceeds, and it shows how they're also contributing to that expense if it exceeds the amount that they have been awarded.
Mm-hmm. Yes, very good. So any other questions? Anybody on the Facebook Live would like to share? You can go ahead and ask your questions right now. Any thoughts from Katie, Dr. Joseph, any thoughts you would like to share at this point before we continue along? I keep posting it in the chat area. I'm sorry, guys. Let me post it in the comments. I keep posting in the wrong area. Yes. Any thoughts you guys would like to share on the importance of this challenge and what it is doing for small businesses and entrepreneurs in Dominica?
Yes. So, I mean, Lizra has done a fantastic job of really outlining all the requirements for participating in the challenge and giving an idea of what the challenge is about and the prizes that are awarded. I think we can say from the feedback that we have received from the winners from last year's challenge that this has been a fantastic injection of funds in their business. And not only is I mean there are grand prizes to be won by the top 3 entrepreneurs, but it's also a fantastic opportunity for entrepreneurs to engage in writing an application for a grant. So if this is your very first time for applying for grant funds to grow your business, it is a fantastic opportunity that prepares you for other opportunities further afield. It is also an excellent opportunity for you to pitch your business to an audience. So you have a captive audience from the DAIC or the business people that you come and you try to be as impactful as possible. So that is also something that is a very good experience that businesses should get more and more familiar with. And also the mentorship aspect of the challenge. All our entrepreneurs who become finalists, not just the winners, can benefit from invaluable mentorship by established business persons. So it is a fantastic opportunity all around, even if you do not you do not win one of the free cash prizes. So I really encourage entrepreneurs to really take advantage of this challenge, apply for the challenge. It is an opportunity for you to basically line your ducks in a row as it relates to the record keeping for your business, to practice putting yourself out there. I know a lot of our people, that sort of using data, using statistics to talk about your business and how well your business is doing and how you intend to justify your business growth and the thrust of your business going forward. That is something that is a priceless experience that can go very well in driving the businesses further, because we have lots of grants circulating in the region and field. So this is an excellent breeding ground for entrepreneurs who want to start applying for grants to grow their business.
Yeah, and before I come to you, and there's something else I keep hearing, it's only the same set of people getting all the opportunities. Because, well, they're getting the opportunities because they stay prepared. That's what it boils down to. So guys, it is really time to get serious. If you do not have everything that we've been talking about in terms of business bank account, your finances in order, your business plan in order, you don't have a business, you have a hobby. Let's just be blunt. Let's just be blunt. If you're not putting the structure required for your quote unquote business, you do not have a business, you have a hobby. And you should not be surprised if you're not earning a living from your hobby, because until you take the next step to make that hobby into a structured, formalized business with a business plan and everything else we've talked about, then you're going to keep missing out on opportunities, and you're going to keep complaining that it's the same people receiving all the grants, receiving all the supports, because they've done the work. They've done the work. And if you want the opportunities, you too have to be willing to do the work. So Katie, any thoughts?
Well, the thing is, Jinara took most of what I was going to say, because it's a learning process.
Yes.
And even if this entrepreneur did not win, but they are going to have something that they're going to live with, the knowledge, enhanced skills, and it's just a matter of seeking the right advice, getting mentorship, or a mentor to assist them in growing their businesses, because it doesn't stop there. It's supposed to be something like continuous learning. It's a continuous learning process. And they are getting all this, even, so they just need to be, how would I put it, consistent.
Yes.
And then Lizra mentioned it, and that is something I know we have an issue with small business owners. They do not know to separate their personal business from their, from the business itself. If they were working for someone, then they would have to work within the threshold of their salary. So give yourself a salary and work within that, and ensure all your bills are paid. Everything that you need to do, it is done for your business. So this is why we ask them for receipts, because not just pro forma invoices, but we need to see the receipts as well as, yes, you said you were going to buy this particular machine, So we have a receipt showing this was done, and not just you can do what you want, pay your recurring expenses or your overhead expenses, and then you're scratching your head as to, but what did I do? Where the money went to? I needed to help somebody because this person came to me for help. It's not anything like that, because we want them to be business-minded individuals and that they know the standard operating procedures when operating a business. And if they're looking at longevity, then they need to know that, look, these are the steps that I need to take. And they know that there are areas available to them for them to seek advice, financial advice, whatever it is, or to seek a mentor.
Yeah, and as Lizra was doing the presentation, and wonderful job on the presentation, Lizra. The other thing that came to mind is the need to learn public speaking, because you have to do a pitch. So, Katie, I was just wondering, is that something that is taught as part of the hospitality program? The importance of speaking, the importance of knowing your target audience, the importance of using the right language, the right terms when you're speaking in front of business people. So I just want to hear your thoughts on if public speaking is offered as part of the program.
Yes, it is. At the college, it is open to a number of programs, but then those under the business studies program, where they're doing the small business entrepreneurship course, they need to pitch their business plan. That's the final evaluation. So public speaking is part of that, where they in turn would pitch their the product that they created or developed. And over the years, I taught that course, as a matter of fact, for 7 years at the college, because I'm at the college for 17 years. And for 7 years out of that, I taught that small business entrepreneurship course. And that was part of it, where public speaking. So we have speech communication being lectured by Ashley Massicott, who has a master's degree in communication within the English department. And he's also the dean of the Faculty of Arts and Sciences. So, they have the right people, because in order for you to lecture at the college, you need to have a master's degree and above. So they are in the right hands. And we at the college, our aim is, when we graduate a student, that student is well-rounded. Like, I had to develop a course in professional development seminar where we look at different areas, personal etiquette, even telephone etiquette, dining etiquette, because we are telling them, when you go to an interview, not everybody's going to take you to sit with a panel of interviewers. They might take you out to dinner. Do you know the right fork to eat, or the right wine to select for the meat kind, if it's fish or meat or something like that? So even their social skills are highlighted in that program. Also budgeting, the managing their personal finances, and we also give them to go get their personality test done, Myers-Briggs. Use the Myers-Briggs or whichever one they feel comfortable with, to find out a little bit about themselves. So we try our best to send them out there as well-rounded individuals, and not just, I'm a science major, so that is all I know.
Right. Exactly. So in the little bit of time that we have left, and the time goes by way too quickly, I want us to talk about, we kind of chuckled when Dave talked about the diaspora, but I want us to talk about the importance of that collaboration. Like, how can we bridge that gap so that we have Dominican entrepreneurs working more collaboratively with our diaspora? So kind of just ponder on that question for a little bit as we get ready to wind down in a little while. But if you joined us late, you're looking at Roots Connections, and we're here talking with the GEMS Foundation, and we're talking about how are we empowering business entrepreneurs in Dominica. And we are talking about the Phillip Nassief Entrepreneurship Challenge, and we're happy to be joined by Dr. Genora Joseph, Miss Katie Julian, and Miss Lizra Fabian. Got it right, right? So, and we do really appreciate the international audience that continues to join us. Again, we had somebody from Africa. We have Dave over there in the UK being up very early in the morning. And then we have Ramat Hassan, who is all the way in Malaysia. So we are truly happy for everyone. Maslin Edwards, thank you for being here as well. Let's make sure we're not missing anyone. We have a comment coming in from Playmaker, and he or she says, come in late, but I hope all the entrepreneurs are tuned in to this program so that they can get on cue to get the help they need in the business field. A lot of folks need this kind of assistance. Yes, Playmaker, and you can play an important role by sharing this program. So whether you share the YouTube link, you share the Facebook link, you can share this program, because this has to be an ongoing effort to educate our people, create a new culture where we have structure around our businesses instead of this whole informal approach that we take with our businesses. So ladies, what are your thoughts on collaborating with the diaspora? And this comes to mind, especially as I think of the folks that are coming to Dominica for the independence season. And here too, you have an opportunity for our businesses to potentially sell to a wider audience with the number of folks that will descend on Dominica for the independence season. So what are your thoughts on the importance of collaborating with the diaspora? Our Dominicans living overseas. I kind of don't like the word diaspora.
Okay, I will go first. So, I mean, a lot of I remember I myself, I lived in the UK for almost 10 years. So at one point in my lifetime, I was part of this diaspora that we refer to. And I feel that, and apologies if any of my background noise is coming through over the feed. I do feel that, the members of the diaspora do want to maintain that strong connection to home. And so we can capitalize on this, that nostalgia they have for everything Dominican, for products from home. They want to make sure that they are connected to the whole, the culture and everything. So I feel that business people should also recognize the members of the diaspora as part of their market. And not only to see them as a market, but even beyond that, see them as collaborators who can drive the marketing aspects of their business in other territories. So we need to capitalize on this. A lot of the members of the diaspora, they do pay attention to the developments in Dominica. They pay attention to news, they pay attention to businesses, to things that are going on, the economy and everything else. So we can also use that leverage that we can get from maintaining these linkages for the members of the diaspora community in how they can market the different products that we have on offer, how they can promote our business offerings in Dominica. And as I mentioned from the beginning, whilst the foundation such as GEMS, it is largely supported by the GEMS holding, but there is room for entrepreneurs who are interested in expanding the capacity of activities that the foundation can support to also pledge to support the foundation. So there are lots of opportunities for the diaspora to participate, from supporting the foundation to be forming useful linkages with the business people, and to also becoming part of the market that we speak of, the international market that we speak of. So these are the areas that we can have diaspora collaborations.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And before I come to you, Katie, we have a comment coming in from Lennon Matthew, and he says, businesses also need an environment that is favorable, which will require a legislative framework to involve enforcement. For example, tax breaks, protection from international exports not within the CARICOM market. We know how some other countries are able to do things cheaper. The businesses need a market with disposable income and a market large enough to handle competition, among other things. if financial institutions do not support small businesses, it is because they do not think there will be returns or bad business plans. Finally, to capture larger markets and spread risk, small businesses with similar product need to think of cooperatives. There are many advantages to that. So thank you, Lennon, for that. And I'm so happy that you mentioned cooperatives because I am a part of the Dominica Livestock Association. I do the media work for them, and that is exactly what they've done. So they are recruiting small ruminant farmers, so farmers of goats and rabbits. So they've created that cooperative where they're using their numbers to have a greater impact in terms of bringing in economic stability and financial opportunities for the farmers of Dominica. So we have a lot of great and important work going on in Dominica. So Katie, let me come to you. And as you are speaking about the diaspora being involved, just go ahead and share your final thoughts as well.
Okay, what I want to say is there's strength in numbers, and you're right by these entrepreneurs coming together to form some organization or to be part of an existing organization. And also with those Dominicans in the diaspora, they can also assist by being philanthropists and supporting the foundation and what we want to do, because we also need the funding so that we can continue with those initiatives that we have under the 4 pillars. And something that Genora forgot to mention was the mural we have at Tony's Corner, which was part of Creed's initiative, so supporting the environment. So we also have that as well.
Mm-hmm. And your final thoughts as we wind down?
That's it for me for now.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you.
I just want to say thank you so much for having us on.
Yes, certainly. And Lizra, over to you.
Yes, am I at final comments now as well?
Well, both. How the diaspora, collaboration of the diaspora.
Well, there are several ways I believe we can collaborate with the diaspora. One is just like even awareness of what is being offered in Dominica. I think there are a lot of persons within the diaspora who get surprised every Creole season when they come home and they're like, wow, we have this in Dominica. Wow, I wish I could have more of this where I am. So whatever we could do to increase awareness of what exists in Dominica, whether we're sharing the products that are great, if we have gifts to buy for anyone, let's not buy from somewhere else or some, Chinese product, but we invest in our businesses. Because if we care about the businesses, we will invest in the business. Whether it is just buying something simple that we can give our family members. If we're looking at Christmas gifts that's coming up, Christmas is coming up very soon. Buy your gifts from our local entrepreneurs. Even the platforms that we can get to purchase while we are away from Dominica, like Jolly's. I hope that everything is working well, continuing to work well with Jolly's online, but we can get our products there. Like even a colleague from Bahamas reached out to me this week is like, do you know this product is olive ojas? I'm like, yeah, I used it up to yesterday. And I got to share the link on Jolly's online. And I do hope that he'll be able to get it soon. So whatever way that we can put persons in touch with the products from Dominica, because some of our entrepreneurs are on this platform, Jolly's Online, then this could be one of the ways that we support. So if we're able to support with our finances, that is one of the biggest ways that we can support. But also sharing with others who may not be aware that these products exist. And if we have the capacity, because we have a lot of persons in the diaspora who I call it the brain bank. And I think it's not a brain drain, but it's a brain bank because we can tap into that bank to help invest and develop our Dominica. So we can continue to strengthen that relationship. Even the organizations who have remit in order to form these linkages, strengthen these linkages. Let's continue to do the best that we can to ensure that our diaspora can connect with our entrepreneurs and we can have entrepreneurs having more income so that they can invest in their families, invest in their lives, and help to create a stronger Dominica.
Yeah, And I'm really happy you brought up Jollies as well. I not to interrupt you, because here we have Jollies. I think they call it Jollies Marketplace or something online, and they are able to ship, I'm assuming, around the world. So it begs the question: why do we not form a similar cooperative? And I'm not sure if it's because Jollies is always on the radio. That's why I know more about what they're doing. But why can't our small businesses form a similar cooperative where there's a website, and if one exists, then it's not being advertised enough? Because someone like me, who pretty much I manage many social media pages, so I'm always on Facebook, and I'm not seeing that such a website is being promoted enough.
So can I come in and share with you as well?
Yes.
There's also Anthony and his partner who have Shop DM. Shop DM is also, I know that they have plans to export even more and expand their marketplace internationally. But even within Dominica, persons can stay in the rural areas and purchase on Shop DM and get it in our community. So it's a very innovative entrepreneur in Dominica who's pushing the boundaries, pushing the limit to empower
Good.
other entrepreneurs in Dominica to be successful as well.
Okay, but he only ships within Dominica for now?
I'm not sure right now how successful it is in external, like exporting, but I know for within Dominica, okay, externally as well. So yes,
Okay, and
so
he
we are
ships.
confirmed that externally it can be
Hmm.
accessed. So we invite persons to go on Shop DM.
Yep.
Wherever you are, search Shop DM and look at what you can purchase from our entrepreneurs.
Yeah,
Buy
so
your
that is shop.dm, right?
Shop.dm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Shop.dm.
because we have to support our own. We cannot just keep
Right.
having conversations, but then we're not putting the action behind the conversations
Right.
to get things moving where we have sustainable economic development. So, just one final question before we head out this evening. So, how does this all play into our goal of having sustainable economic development in Dominica? Because that is what my true passion is. My true passion is youth development, and what can we do to secure sustainable economic development in Dominica? Dr. Joseph, you want to take a stab at that?
Okay, I apologize if any of my background noise is coming through the feed.
You're good.
Yes, okay. So I want people to be mindful of what sustainability means.
Yes.
And I think the fact that this our foundation ties in these four E's: environment, entertainment, and the arts, education, and entrepreneurship, these E's, is some of it is captured in what sustainability is supposed to mean. Sustainability is the nexus between the society, the economy, and the environment, right? So what we want to encourage is, even if our entrepreneurship challenge is, we want to encourage businesses, small businesses that are thinking in that sustainability framework. They're thinking about what they're offering, the value they're offering to society through their products, through their business. They're also thinking of being environmentally responsible corporate citizens, and they're also looking at the economic side of things. So this is what we encourage in the eligibility criteria of our foundation, and in the way that we mentor the participants in the entrepreneurship challenge. So it is all of it is grounded in a framework of sustainability, and that is especially important for small island developing states such as Dominica, that we ensure that development that we do, the economic development that we do, all is sustainable, because our resources are limited, our population is small, and we also are facing what we call external challenges that we do not have control over. So sustainability is very important to our economic development.
And Lizra, if you want to chime in as well, and I'm just wondering as well, is there an educational? I know, Katie, you do education at the State College, but is there a push for educating our youth, for getting into like the primary schools, capturing the young people at a young age to educate them on, entrepreneurship? If you want to be an entrepreneur, this is what you're going to need. So what are we doing in the way of youth development?
I think there are different initiatives in Dominica that's focused in this area. As you mentioned it, I was trying to remember the exact name and I can't, but DYBT focuses on the youth. And as part of the NYC, there's another office that's attached to it. I really forget the name right now, which is bad, but there's an initiative that targets students in primary schools to develop businesses. I think even before the Dominica Manufacturers Association also had some challenge where they encourage students in primary schools and high schools to develop new products that could transform into big businesses. And I think from that, there have been some successful businesses that have developed over the years who participated in these before. So we're just encouraging everyone who have that focus on supporting our students in primary school, our students in high school. Some of our high schools are actually having entrepreneurship week and different entrepreneurship challenges where they even invite business persons to come to the school to support the students, to give them some insight into what entrepreneurship life is like. It's not just all flashy, making lots of money and spending it on yourself, but it also includes a lot more and helping the students to understand that it's quite important.
Yeah, and the other concern is, all these YouTubers we seen our young kids being exposed to, where you can just do viral videos and get paid. So we have to know what is out there, what our young people are being exposed to, so that we know how to counteract that, to say, well, it's probably 1% of people on YouTube making that kind of money. So you need to get yourself a real job. Okay, so and not be too concerned about being a YouTube superstar, because only 1% of people actually make it that big on YouTube. So your final thoughts, Liz, as we wind down.
Well, I must give our thanks to Gregor Nassief for his very dedicated selfless support in helping us in establishing this foundation, guiding us through the process, continuing to support in each of the initiatives, and consistently even following up, ensuring that what we do is impactful to the people that we serve in Dominica, and to ensure that we could also get the resources that's necessary to be able to support our businesses and everyone else. We also thank Ronson, who is the secretary of the foundation board, and also Ryan, the CEO of Gems Holding, who continue to support us. So we do thank everyone else beyond our board members who continue to push the initiatives of the foundation, because with their support, it's helped us to be much more successful. But I want to encourage everyone who's listening, all our businesses who are tuned in, to take a look at this challenge. And if you see that you're eligible, if you see that now is the right time for your business, please do not hesitate and submit your application. Ensure that you submit it to foundation@gems.dm. But also for everyone else who is listening, please encourage a business. Please be there in whatever way you can, whether you are living out of Dominica or you're living within Dominica. There is something that we can all do. Let's not just talk about it, but let's put our effort, let's put our resources where it's possible to support. But also, this will be hosted every year. So those who were not eligible last year, we tell them, look out for this year. And for those who may not be ready, please prepare your business, your documents, everything for next year, so that maybe at that point, as your business becomes more ready, you can take advantage of this opportunity. But thank you, Simone, for also reaching out to us. Like, we didn't even have to ask you to have us on the show. You reached out because you saw the extreme value of what we're doing.
Absolutely.
We're really humbled and appreciative of you.
Yes, absolutely. And that is the goal of the program, to reach out to, organizations and folks such as you, who are having a positive impact, especially a positive economic impact on Dominica. And Lizra, don't be surprised. I'm sending you another message about that OAS women's empowerment, but I'll give it some time, maybe later in the year or early next year, because we have a couple of more people lined up for the program. So Winsty Choice Spot says small businesses require protection, from public servants enforcing code of conduct by public servants. We can't win when they are equally competing to win. Okay, so I'm assuming you mean competition. Wincy JL says, well done. And Petey Sweeney, blossomdominica.com is another online shop for Dominica Blossom Dominica. So thank you for sharing that, Winnie. And again, we shared a lot of information. So Lizra, if you can enter an email address that folks can send any further questions to, that will be wonderful. But guys, you know how to reach me if you would like more information about this program, or if you as well, you're doing something important that is moving Dominica, the Caribbean region, our people forward, especially as it relates to sustainable economic development, because I say it all the time, we're all very passionate about Dominica, but what are we doing to turn that passion for Dominica into action for Dominica? Because the only way that Dominica can move forward is when we turn that passion into action. So the email address, if you would like to contact GEMS Foundation, is foundation@gems.dm. So for our folks listening on the radio via Q95, again, that is foundation@gems, GEMS.dm. So thank you, ladies, for being here for this very engaging, powerful conversation. We touched on so many important topics today. I really hope our audience got some value. Thank you, Mr. G, for the opportunity to come here and present this program. Lambi showing our radio audience, our Facebook and YouTube audience. Thank you for being here. We will be back with you on October 9th, and we're going to talk about the economic impact of the FET industry. So I'm just going to leave it at that, because I hear way too many people criticizing all the CWO and the FETs and events going on in Dominica. But what we're not considering is the economic impact, the economic opportunities that these events are bringing to Dominica. So we're going to look at that topic, and nobody better steal my idea. You see, here we go, competition, right? That's okay. If you want to steal the idea, you can go right ahead. So thank you, everyone, for being here. Peter Sweeney says awesome information. So thank you for that. So with that, we say good evening. Don't forget, my email address is pushpast10, PUSHPAST @gmail.com, PUSHPAST10 @gmail.com. And for all the information you need for how we continue to amplify the effort of our beautiful Caribbean people by harnessing the power of technology, international radio, social media, and podcasts, you can log on to pushpast10.com. So again, thank you everyone for being here. And with that, we say good evening. You guys can unmute and say bye to the audience.
Good night, everyone. Thanks again.
Take care.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
Lambi, don't forget to turn off the StreamYard. Have a good night. Take care.
Okay. All right.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Roots Connections on Q, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. every other Wednesday on Q95, the big station. Dominicans journeyed beyond our shores for decades in search